This podcast has been recorded and provided by ICMA, the International City-County Management Association, and is funded through the U.S. Department of Energy's Solar Outreach Partnership. For more information, visit solaroutreach.org.
Our utility wanted to build a peaking plant, and the community said, no, we really don't want you to do that. We think that we can reduce our peak load demand instead of just building more capacity. The utility called our bluff and said, you think so? I'm going to bring y'all, we're going to sit around a table until we figure this out. A lot of it, too, was us also saying, this is what I should do, and empowering each other to really take on our own leadership and what each of these community leaders could do with their own leadership by example opportunities. We got to a high point of alignment on big picture goals for clean energy independence in the region.
So I came back from the trip and I went in to see our mayor. Said, Mayor, why are we on this list? He said, well, that'd be a good job for you.
When we first started solar planning, we looked at various different sites, and then, we were ready to move fast.
We really struggled to find somebody to work with us to do this third-party public-private partnership that could really design it, build it, finance it, operate it, and maintain it for 20 years. That's really what we were looking for.
So we chose a 200,000 watt system, 2/10 of a meg. The whole idea was just see how this thing works. Does it offset power? Does it really generate the revenues that you say it's going to do? In our model, our business model, we were able to offer no money up front.
This was all done real low impact. These weigh about 20 pounds each, and they're made out of recycled tires. We did not do any digging. All the panels were walked out and hand placed, very low impact. There's even grass growing underneath.
When we stood out here and did our press conference, it matched all the things that we were saying about sustainability just by taking a picture of it.
The important thing that a community should go ahead and do is just prepare that process, because you could get a request for solar, but you just don't know how to handle it administratively. By adding the historic guidelines brings attention to the fact that that is a possibility for our historic areas, because there are a lot of misconceptions in historic districts.
The other solar project is a pretty big rooftop array, and it's on the Depression era factories. It is very visible from one of the arterials that goes past it. We've been able to accommodate renewable energy in the historic district without detracting from the historic qualities that we're trying to preserve.
The point of the workshops, we called them Solar 101 workshops. What solar was, how it worked, why you would even think about putting it on your roof, what it costs, and if you did want to put it up, what resources were available. Two of the early things that we did were code enforcement training and then inspector training. There was this best practice of third-party financing, and it was pretty much the only viable way that a municipality could put up solar without having to front the cost themselves. So we achieved a model that did succeed in getting this leverage of private capital and the incentives and the benefits while transferring the risk and the maintenance and the operations concerns to a private party.
While we were working on TSI, DOE announced the funding initiative for Sunshot. That program was to work with 4 cities on streamlining the process. When we started Sunshot, there was this perception that you couldn't install on an historic building, and I kept saying, but we have installations in Franklin.
Both the city of Lakeland and Polk County, the community development offices, their land use development rules was not favorable to solar. You could only build a solar farm on land that was zoned heavy industrial. Solar was being treated much the same as a coal-fired plant, which has an enormous impact. Unbundling solar away from that definition was key to getting solar approved installation on land other than heavy industrial. I reminded them that there's a state law, the solar access law, that disallows prohibiting the installation of solar panels. They acknowledged that and said we should rewrite all of our LDRs.
I have always looked at this is a springboard for the future. The SunSmart program really created this network of teachers throughout the state of Florida, too, that all have something in common. What we're trying to do now is build programs. We need to start with the young kids, make sure that we have some of these systems at elementary schools, the middle schools and the high schools, so they can see the opportunities for careers and things like that.
So the solar array would be a part of, or any kind of solar activity would be a part of the curriculum showing how new and advanced green jobs are.
The curriculum and the battery backup is what sold us. And the shelter. A lot of our schools are sheltered. You know how those 3 hurricanes hit us in that one year, where we didn't have power for a week. And the idea of people having lights at night in these shelters was huge.
We had a renewable portfolio standard. We had a big bill to increase it in 2001, right after the energy crisis in the West, where we had rolling brownouts. And in 2003, the emphasis was on distributed generation. We came in with the goal of putting in as much energy efficiency as we could to lower our use and putting in solar at the same time. We're currently getting about 20 to 22% of our municipal use from solar energy right now.
Reno, in particular, what is kind of impressive is the commitment to moving forward in the direction of renewables when tough times hit.
BlackRock was able to take their nonprofit status and the rebate that the legislature created and build solar arrays around the region. And then they pay the difference between the cost of the rebate and the rest of the installation. So it ends up being free to all of these entities.
Our mission is to speed the adoption of renewable energy. To do that, we work with underserved communities, schools, a lot of tribes, many nonprofit organizations, and some medical facilities.